Hey sixth graders, today's lesson is 4-3, which is writing and solving addition and subtraction equations. Now remember, for our equations, we have an expression, we have an equal sign, and we also have a value at the end of what it's going to be equal to. So all of these ones will be having two equations on the different sides of that equal sign. Taking a look at yesterday's little review, remember when it comes to our equations, we do have to follow the properties of equality. What those say is whatever we do on one side, we have to do the same thing on the other side. So if we subtract 3 on the left side, we have to subtract 3 on the right side as well. Okay, we need to keep those balanced with our properties of equality. For this lesson, we're going to be doing what's called the inverse operation. Sorry, you guys, there's a little glare there. Or also called the inverse relationship. Now, what this means is if you have an addition problem, you are going to subtract. If you have a subtraction problem, you are going to add. Now, tomorrow, we'll be talking about multiplication and division. So you have a multiplication problem, you're going to divide. If you have a division problem, you're going to multiply. In these problems, our goal is to get the variable, sorry guys, that glare is terrible, the variable alone on one side of the equation. So we want to get x by itself, m by itself, whatever it may be. I'm going to show you a couple examples today, and I'm going to keep the lesson a little bit on the shorter side, but we will be getting into more detail with these problems next week as well. Here's our first problem. Our first problem is 24 plus m equals 49. Now here we have an addition problem. So to solve, we actually need to do the opposite, and we're going to subtract to solve our problem here. Now you might be able to look at this but want to be like, oh, well, I can just figure that out in my head. Yeah, that sounds good. A lot of them you might be able to. However, it's good practice to get this thinking going because this is what we're going to be doing for a little while, and the problems are going to get more and more difficult where you can't do that solving in your head. So we want to get m by itself. To do that, we need to get rid of this 24. So to do that, I am going to subtract 24. So a positive 4 and we subtract 24, those now cancel out. Now m is by itself on this side. However, taking a look at yesterday, our properties of equality. If we subtracted 24 on this side, we have to do the same thing over on this side. And our 49 minus 24 equals 25. So in this case, m equals 25. Now, it's important to check our answer at the end. So we're going to take the value that we got for m, that 25, and we're going to substitute it in for our m. And think 24 plus 25, yep, that equals 49. All right, next example. A plus 11 equals 15. Remember, our goal is to get a by itself. Here we have an addition problem, so we're going to do the inverse operation or the inverse relationship, and we're going to subtract 11. Now you guys, reason that we're starting with the 11 here is because we want a by itself. This 11 minus 11 cancels out. Now remember, whatever we do on one side of the equation, we have to do it on the other side. So now we have our 15 minus 11, which a is going to equal 4, and if we plug that in and check, our 4 plus 11, yep, that equals 15. Now, one thing when you're writing your answers, I want us to get in the habit of saying that a equals, okay, or whatever that variable equals with its value. All right, here we have a subtraction problem. We have s minus 19 equals 32. Remember, our goal is to get the variable by itself on one side. So we want to get rid of that part that's by it. So we have a minus 19.